Okay.
Do you want us to mute
Right.
ourselves?
Oh no, it's when there's only 5.
Oh, no.
It's when there's like all background noise and everything that, you know, funny. But Marika, are you staying there or are you going somewhere? Because I was about to ask you a question.
Who?
You.
I had no idea what was going on.
I was going to
Fixed it.
ask you, like you've been watching heaps of stuff lately and lots of trainings. I was just
Yeah.
wanting to see, like, on the spot, a little bit on the spot. I always put you on the spot.
That's okay. While Sassy's attacking my face.
Just keen to know, like, one of your main takeaways. Maybe if we each go and say, like, one of our main takeaways of something that we've listened to or read in the last week or two.
Okay.
That impacts you. Marika, take it away.
Oh gosh, all right, there's so many, but I think, all right, I think the main thing for me is I started focusing on more the business side of things again and why network marketing is such a good industry to get into. And it's just, I've been listening to the cash flow quadrant and like telling you about the different people and where they fit into it. So you obviously have your employee, small business, people who go into big business, and then your investors. And it just kind of teaches you the different language that each person uses and how you can relate to them. So that was good. So when you're actually sitting and speaking to someone, you can hear where their mindset is focused on, and that way you can change your verbiage with them to kind of relate and, you know, explain it to them in that way. Because sometimes if you think in a one way, and I always speak more on the investing side and business side, but if someone has like an employee mindset, they're not going to understand what you're saying. And more than anything, you'll probably scare them off if you explain the business to them.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful.
That's awesome. And that cash flow quadrant is such a killer book. It's on the Audible.
Right,
It's long. It's like, I think it's like an 18-hour book or something. It's huge. But a lot of the biggest ENVPs, like Sarah Dunning, she says that was the book that changed her business. When she listened to it and realized that to have the life that you want to live, you do need to be in the I and the B quadrant, which is the investor and the big business. And the only way to do that as just like a normal Joe Blow, like you guys and me, is in social marketing. Like, to be able to start a big business where you've got over 500 employees as someone that doesn't have $1 million to start up or doesn't have this like crazy, amazing tech idea, really social marketing is the only way for us to be able to do that. And once you really figure that out, and you're right, like the language and stuff, you change the way. I think that book has really helped me become more professional in the way that I'm talking to people. And it's also helped like just give people, like when they listen to me speak about stuff, it's that intellectual language that people go, oh, like she actually knows what she's talking about. Like that.
Yeah, it makes you more confident, like to speak about the business and actually explain it in terms that they'll understand. Because before you'll try and explain it in the way that you understand, but if that person can't relate to what you're saying, they're just going to be like, okay, I don't get it. It's probably not for me.
Yeah,
so really helpful.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Yeah, either way, you go. Go on.
Oh, my dog's going nuts. You go. Hang on, I'll go get her. You go. I'll be back in a minute.
Go, Megan.
Okay. I suppose probably listening to like the Monday night calls and just a few other trainings, I think it's important to like listen to everybody's journey and how it's so different, and not to put so much pressure on yourself if it's not happening the way that you see everybody else. And it's hard to not compare yourself, I suppose, but just to stay focused. And everyone's time frames. And I think it's really good as well, like to listen to everyone's different stories, and then it's easier to relate to some people that aren't similar to what Marika was saying, but then you can relate to people that aren't necessarily working in an office job like me, who's married, about to have a baby. It's very different to someone else who's in their 50s that is just as successful. So it's good to get their perspective and like their experience and kind of have a bit more of an understanding of where they're coming from. But it's good. I love listening to everyone's stories. It makes me happy.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that like the people that do go fast in the business are the ones we see a lot of, because, you know, they've got big social media followings, or like people are posting a lot about them. So they're they're very visible because they're going fast. So we can think that they're the only ones that are successful, but there's all these people who are in the background who are, 8 years to MVP, 10 years to MVP, even people that have done it in like 3 or 4 years that we don't see. There's so many MVPs out there who don't even have Instagram, who we're not seeing their story. So I love that. Like, it is important to not just compare to, Peyton and Avery and all these ones that we see all the time, because yes, we are seeing them all the time, but there's 500 other MVPs who have different stories to that. And
yeah, exactly.
And the journey. Love it. Well, let's keep going clockwise. So Courtney.
Me.
You last.
I've been listening this week to recordings of like how to approach somebody and like dialogue, because I'm finding that's my hardest part at the moment is wording it right. Like, you can do it 100, like you send out so many messages, but if you don't have that dialogue around the right way, it just goes nowhere. And then trying to think of how do I save this and not let it go down the drain, sort of thing. So that's been my main focus for the week, and just jotting it all down so it's there. And then when like going back and writing messages, I've got dot points and stuff. So hopefully that changes.
Well, it's working, because Courtney had business chat last night and today, and she was like, let's go, let's do this. So
well done.
And she's got a business chat on Friday as well, which is very exciting. So, and I think the day Courtney had messaged me literally like, I don't know, a week ago saying, I'm sending out all these messages and I keep getting those. And I wrote back saying, look, consistency is going to pay off. You're doing all the right things. Just keep going. And literally 5 minutes later, she got a yes.
Hey.
Joining to so it's very exciting. You just gotta just love it. Just keep going. Congratulations. All right, Alyssa.
Hi. I was listening to 2 things. I'm still listening to Be Obsessed and Be Average, which is so good. He's like such a powerhouse to listen to. He's like a small dose person, like. But I listen to him when I'm just in the car and driving places.
Yeah.
And just like the main fact of being obsessed, whatever you're doing, like I kind of like, that's my motto is don't really half-ass anything. Like you need to be in it to gain something and to win it, basically. And then one of the trainings that I listened to, I think Marika, you posted, was, I can't remember who, a lady just talking about like her daily rituals basically and how she got successful from doing those daily things. And I think re-listening to that, especially like after Christmas and after New Year's, you get kind of like in that holiday mode. That was really good to re-listen to be like, yeah, well, I am doing those things as well. So just getting that routine of like your personal development and writing your list down of what you're going to do, who you're going to ask, and things like that, who to follow up. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's good.
That's very similar to mine. Like for me, this last week has been really immersed in vision, routine, like that structure that I want to carry through my year, but coming at it from a place of peace and coming at it from a place of rest. That's something that I'm really focusing on in my business, is to have the structure and have the routine, but not be striving. Like the word strive, I just don't like the word strive, because it's like, it's got an anxious feeling to it. It's like, oh, I need to get there. Like, I've got to do this because I need to get there.
Like a school teacher's report, strives.
Yes, strives to excellence. Like, I naturally want to go and strive, but then it's just not healthy. So I want to come at my routine from this place of peace and rest. And when you have a solid vision, what I'm discovering is it creates rest. Yeah, it calms you, because if you've got the vision and you know where you're going and you know who you are, you don't have to strive, because you know the things you're doing and you know those things are going to get you to where you want to go. And so that creates peace, which means you're working from a place of rest, which means when you're talking to people or when you're in situations, you're calm and you're open and you're ready to grow. So that's been my focus for like this week, and what I've been reading about and listening about, and I've been getting really into podcasts this week. I'm just like, just, just taking it all in. And one book I wanted to recommend, I'm going to chuck this on Audible. Doesn't quite go with what I just said about peace and rest, but it can if you look at it from that way. It's called Relentless. It's written by Michael Jordan's coach, and it's sports focused, but you can apply it to any part of your life. And it's about how relentless Michael Jordan was, and how he would just keep showing up no matter how many times that he failed, and the difference between him, and he also is Kobe Bryant's coach as well, the difference between them and everybody else. And it's like you could look at it as the difference between an MVP and everybody else. So it's a great book. So I'm going to be popping that on Audible because I've read the hard copy and it's just amazing. All right. Well, it's great that we've only got 10 minutes because it's just really short. The main thing I wanted to talk about tonight, and that was showing you guys how to create a video story to utilize as a resource with your asks. So I was doing this mid last year and having so much success with it. And then for some reason I stopped using it, and I don't know why. So I'm going back to using it. So I'm like, why did I stop doing that? It was so successful, and it's what Richard Westbrook suggested to do. So you may have seen my short video. If you were Alyssa, I think it's even what I used when I asked you.
Yeah, it was when I've seen it.
Yeah, and Courtney as well. It's what I use when I talk to you about the business. Yeah. And the reason behind this short video, so it's like 1 to 2 minutes. Mine's 2 minutes. It doesn't even have to be 2 minutes. It can be 1 minute. And it's literally a bit of your story. It's like your why. And you paint a little bit of vision at the end of it. And the purpose of this is it makes it so much easier to ask someone to take a look, because all you're asking them to take a look at is a 1 minute video of you. It's so authentic. It's so quick and simple. And from that 1 minute, you're going to be able to sift that person into the intrigued basket or the it's not for me basket straight away. And as coming from the point of view from the consultant, I found it so much easier to actually ask people to look at this, because my ask was structured the same sort of thing, but I was then saying, hey, I'm not sure if you know that I run my own business with Arbonne. You popped into my mind because of rah, 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 rah. I actually just made a little video, just a 1 minute video that tells a bit about my story and my journey. If I was to flick it through to you, would you be open to just taking a quick look? Like, you're just asking them to take a look at a video of you, which I think is even easier than asking them to take a look at an 18-minute video of someone they don't know, but they're going to watch the 1 minute video, and then when you check in and you're like, oh, so what did you think? Do you have any feedback or whatever? And they go, oh, that's really interesting. Like, can you actually create a life like that with Arbonne? So you see, like, they'll get intrigued, or they'll ask you like a question like, oh, I didn't know that you could do that with Arbonne. Then I would say, I've actually got another video. It goes for 18 minutes. It tells you a little like deeper into how it all works, what it's all about. If I was to flick that through, would you want to have a look? And then they watch the longer video. So, I mean, this isn't the only way to do it. If you are happy sending the longer video first, I mean, you've got to do what works, but this is just another tool in your tool belt. And I see running an Arbonne business as collecting these different tools for your tool belt, so that when you come across this next person, you decide, you go, okay, which tool is going to fit best for this person? Is it best that I wait until I see them next when we have a face-to-face conversation? Is it best if I utilize my 1 minute video and send it through to them? So I found that having this video on hand, ready to go, it gives you just that little bit of extra piece in your business. You know you've got that awesome resource just ready to go. And so obviously with my video, I need to redo my video because my why's changed so much. My life's changed so much. In the video, I say I'm not a teacher anymore, and now I am, so I've got to change it. So I'm going to be redoing mine this week. But in your video, it doesn't have to be you saying, oh, I'm making all this income with Arbonne and rah, rah, rah. It doesn't have to be that. Speak into your why, speak into your vision, say why you were so excited when you heard about the opportunity. Tell them in the video, this is what I learned about Arbonne. This is why I jumped in. and this is where I'm going, and this is why I'm so excited. Just a little snippet of your why. And then once you've done that, I just recorded it on my phone. I suggest having a plain background somewhere in the house, decent lighting. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but decent lighting. And then you just upload it to YouTube. You can make it private so people can only access it from a link if you don't just want it floating around YouTube. Or you can just whack it up public. I then took my YouTube video and embedded it into a small link just so that it looked even more professional and fancy schmancy, and people don't get to see how many views it's had. So when you're sending them a video and it's had like 2 views, they're like, oh, is this a good so it's like embedded in the small link, and then you can it's just another thing that you have. And another thing that I'm going to be working on as well before I go back to school, and this was suggested by Richard Blissbrook, is then having a 2-minute video for the skincare and for the nutrition. And so when somebody shows interest, or you talk to someone while you're out and they show a bit of interest, you can be like, oh, I've got a little 1-minute video of me talking about my testimony, or talking about what the program did for me. If I was to send it through, would you want to have a quick look? It's just another resource to have on hand. Anyone's thoughts? Anyone that thinks they'd like it?
Like more relatable because it's you, and like they know you. As opposed to like a Maybelline ad with their eyelashes and blah blah blah. Like we don't know who that is.
Yeah, it makes it just that step more authentic.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about it is how you feel asking. It's even easier.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like if you're asking someone to look at the business and then send them a video of somebody else, they're like, but I thought you were asking me. Like sort of there's a bit of a gap.
A bit of a gap. So this fills the gap.
Yeah. So like when you sent it to me and I looked at it, I related more because I knew you. Yeah. It wasn't like you were sending me this video of some just like American girl and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
What's that proving? What's that showing sort of thing?
Yeah. And I mean, it's not, even though it's just a 1-minute video, it's not easy. Like when I did mine, it took me probably 3 hours. Like wrote it, practiced it word for word for like 2 hours until I had it, then recorded it 5 million times, and then sent it off to Felicia, and this person and that person got feedback, changed it, did it again. So like I really, because you want to create something that's decent. So if you do have a couple of hours maybe on the weekend to sit down and have a go at it, just give it a go. I know it's not comfortable being in front of a camera and recording yourself, and maybe this isn't for you. Maybe the thought of sending a video of yourself to someone just is like, nah, that's not me. In that case, I wouldn't do it. It needs to be authentic for you. But I just wanted to offer you guys another way, another idea. And if this fits for you, I'm here to help as well. So like after you've recorded it, send it through, can bounce around some feedback, and then when you feel like it's ready, start using it. Have you got one, Marika? Have you done this before?
I actually haven't made one. Funny. No. I don't know why I haven't. I should do. It's a good idea. It's a lot easier, I think, to send your own kind of video out to people.
Yeah. Super short, just like that little why. When you're at the DA and people are getting recognised for going DM, and they get up there on the microphone and they share a couple of minutes, and out of the whole DA, that's what resonates the most, is those people getting up there who went DM and they're so excited, or they're talking about like their vision for their business. It's really impactful. And to see someone at the beginning stages of their business as well can be even more relatable, even more so than watching someone who's an MVP making 30 grand a month. You're like, oh yeah, well they did it, but I can't. But when you watch someone who's just at the start of their business and they're just building it, can be even more relatable, because you're like, I decided to do this, this is where I'm going, and then people are going to come with you.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Anything else?
I'll probably think of them in 2 hours' time.
Pardon?
I said I'll probably think of questions in 2 hours' time.
Chuck it on Limitless. And I've just been loving Megan and Marika. I just love all of the stuff that you guys share on Limitless. It's so, like, even though it's just something so small, just to whack something up there, it has a huge impact on people. Even for me, I see it and I go, oh, like, it makes me go, I've got to make sure that I listen to that today. Like, when we all come together and do that, it really does create more of a community feel.
Yeah.
Instead of just me chucking shit up all the time. People get sick of just hearing from me. We got to hear from everyone, you know, like when the whole team's moving and shaking and sharing, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So I just want to say
it's just good. Like, I feel like, because when in the mornings, because literally every time I put that up, it's like me getting, like, doing my makeup in front of the mirror, and I'll listen to it, and then I go, oh, there's some really good stuff in there. I'll share it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
The other morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one you put up about the wording of, like, you know, and stuff. That was so good. I just loved listening to that because, like, the wording and stuff that you used to explain was just
Danielle. Was it the Danielle one?
Yeah, the Danielle one. I thought that was really good. I actually listened to that one. Was that the day? Yeah, the day you put it up, I think. But yeah, that was good.
So good. And shout out to Alyssa for her awesome Insta stories lately.
Oh, I love all your workout videos.
I'm like, give me more. I want to see more.
I was just asking, I was like, how do you make that? I want to do that.
Skills. No, it's called Splice. And, like, hang on, I'll show you. I just taught myself. I, like, Googled what's a video creator app, and this came up, and I just taught myself how to use it. So it's just like an S. I don't know if you can.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's free, and, like, you can figure it out pretty quick. I just pressed a whole bunch of random buttons, and I was like, yeah, that works. Then, like, you can put it, trim it. So, like, what I did today, the dog was standing in front of the camera for, like, the whole thing. So I cut that whole bit out. But it's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Awesome. No, we're loving it. Loving it.
Good.
All right, ladies. Well, that's us done for the night. Boom. Finish 2 minutes early. I'm loving it. 30-minute training calls every second week. It's the way to go. Love it.
Good.
Love it.
So easy.
So next Wednesday is Hour of Power, and we're all together. Yay! Everyone, I'm really excited. I haven't decided. Maybe is Nicole back next week? Because I know she wanted to have the last Hour of Power, and then we cancelled it. So I'll check in with her. But if she can't do it, then I'll just chuck it up on the page, and whoever wants to host can host. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Cool.
Yay! All right, ladies. Well, I'll speak to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.